Hi, it's Ruth from Cockermouth Pilates Studio, and I have an intermediate level Pilates routine, so it will be rather challenging. This is suitable if you do not manage any back issues, okay? Start in parallel, stacking ankles, knees, hips, shoulder and head. Circle the arms, placing the palms together, overhead with the elbows extended. Bend the knees to come down into plie, and as you do, slide your shoulder blades down your back, draw the thumbs to the breastbone. Keeping your shoulder girdle and pelvic girdle level, stand on one leg. Point the toe on the opposite leg, take the arms out to the sides with your palms facing down. Rotate, palms up, flex the foot and extend the leg to bring it up to standing. Challenging your balance, let's bring it back to parallel, arms overhead. We'll repeat that, but we'll work the opposite leg this time. So we're down into plie squat. Remember, with a plie squat, you keep your spine vertical, bending at your hip, knee and ankle, but not hinging forwards at the hip joint. From that plie, we'll stand on the opposite leg, point the toe, take the arms out to the side with the palms facing down. We rotate the palms up, flex the foot and extend the knee of the leg that you're standing on to bring it back to standing. We'll go one more time. Parallel stance, palms pressed together overhead. Plie, stabilize the shoulder girdle, challenging the flexibility into the ankles as you sink down. Single leg standing, pointing the toe, taking the arms out with the palms facing down. Rotate palms up, flex the foot, extend the knee. Return to parallel standing for the last time through. So we've got that lovely slide of the shoulder blades down the back as we come into our plie. We're aiming to keep our pelvis level as we're standing on one leg. Rotating palms up, flexing the foot as you extend the knee. And then we will be bringing the arms to the sides. Now we are going to do a regular squat. So you're sitting back into your squat, keeping the knee pretty much directly above your ankle, so you're not letting it stick out over your toes, maintaining neutral spine. You're going to squeeze your scapula and rotate the shoulder joint. So your shoulder blades come towards each other, your elbows and your palms turn tight into your body, and you're maintaining the spine in neutral as you work the shoulder girdle area. Drive through to standing and then we'll go down again. So we hold the squat, scapular squeeze, 4 and release, 3 and release, 2 and release. Last one, release, drive to standing. I'll show you from the back. We sink down. So you've got scapular retraction and also external rotation at your shoulder joint at the same time with this movement. One more. Drive to standing, one more time through, sitting back, squeeze 4, squeeze 3, squeeze 2, and squeeze 1. Working on rotation next with cherry picking. You're going to take your toe out to one side and the arm on the opposite side into the air. Imagine that there's a tree. You're picking a cherry out of the tree and placing it into your basket that you're holding on to. So you're going to get a bit of rotation into the thoracic spine, as well as a little bit of challenge for your balance. One more cherry on this side. And then reverse it, switching hands with your basket, switching hands to pick cherries out of the tree the opposite way round. Twice more. And last one. Lovely. We'll get a little bit warmer next and we're going to do wide squat, stepping side to side. If we take the palms out, facing up towards the ceiling, nice deep squat, slide it together. Moving from one side to the other as you're stepping out. Now, the deeper that you go and the wider that you go, the harder you are going to work. So please adjust the depth of your squat accordingly. If you want to get a little bit warmer, you can go a wee bit deeper. Now this time when you step out, hold, circle the arms as you do a static squat, changing the arm that rotates in front each time. Leg position is really important. Make sure you're sending those knees out over the toes, preserving the arch in your feet as you work that wide squat. Twice more. And then following this last one, we can step or jump together. Quarter turn, so you have got the length of your mat in front of you. Partial roll down, please, keeping your pelvis above your knees, above your ankles. Peel forwards, flexing your spine from the top towards the bottom, as if you're rolling off an imaginary wall. Your arms should be dangling fairly well away from you, and your weight will be into the toes. So I want you to make sure you get full spine flexion before allowing pelvic tilt to happen and taking your hands down onto the mat. From this position, we'll walk to 4-point kneeling with our hands under shoulders, our knees underneath our hips. We'll take the spine through flexion and extension with cat stretch. Breathing out as you flex the spine, breathing in as you extend. 2 more cycles of cat stretch. When we finish this last one, we're going to hold the extension, making the shape of an upside down letter V. We push the pelvis high, we press the head between the arms, and then from that upside down V, we start to walk the hands towards the feet so that we're at the end point of that roll down and we restack to standing. Let's work through those preps again. Circle the arms, palms together. Plie. Pull down, stabilize the shoulder, girdle. One leg standing, toe pointed, palms facing down. Rotate your arms so your palms are facing up, flex your foot and extend the knee. Parallel standing, palms together. Plie, draw down. Opposite leg standing, this time pointing the toe, palms are facing down as they go out to the sides, and then we rotate, palms up, flex the foot, extend the knee. Okay, come to parallel. Squat with scapular squeeze, shoulder joint rotation. Sit back, use the buttocks. Rotate for 8, release. 7, release. 6 and 5. 4, 3, 2, last one. Drive to standing, and again, sit it back, keep the knee above the ankle, really use the buttocks, squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and last one. Release and drive up. Okay, we're cherry picking. The basket's really heavy, it's down on the floor this time, okay? So you're going to reach up to pick your cherry, cross the leg behind to put your cherry on the top of that pile on your basket. Now, if you really want to challenge your balance, you can try to reach the higher cherries in the tree by rising onto the ball of that foot as you pick your cherry. Last time in this direction, please. And then we'll change it over. Basket on the floor down here, toe out, pick the cherry, cross it behind. Remember that option to challenge the balance. You rise, just stretching up into that tree a little bit more. Last time. Wonderful work. Okay, wide squat, stepping side to side. This time we're going to kick it out. So we take the arms out, palms up. We step to the side, we kick together. Step to the side, kick together. If you find that this doesn't work very well for you, just step and slide as we did last time. Remember to control the kick. So you're not relying on momentum to fling the leg around. Making this our last one, and then we'll go for our static squats, so step wide, adding lateral flexion this time. So we squat and circle, bend to the side. Change the arm that comes in front, squat and circle, bend into the opposite side. Squat and circle, bending to the side. Squat and circle, bending to the opposite side. Now, if you're finding it difficult to remember which arm is going in front each time, then you can take the arm in front of the side that you're bending towards each time. That will also help you to remember which side you're on with your bend. And we'll go for 2 more. And last time through. Super work. From there, step or jump together. Quarter turn, come right to the end of your mat. Partial full round roll down. Partial to full roll down. Focus on really developing that stretch through your back. Now, this is one of the reasons why intermediate Pilates is not suitable if you're managing back issues, because this movement is unsupported forward flexion and it places a huge amount of stress through your discs, okay? So that is one of the reasons that at intermediate level we ask you to make sure that you're not managing any back issues, because there are moves that will potentially really challenge you, may put you at risk. Pelvic tilt to take it down, and this time we're going into plank. So we want to align ourselves in neutral, making sure we're still in chin retraction and we haven't let our head fall forwards. Legs are beautifully tight across the thighs, and we're not allowing ourselves to sink down like this, and neither are we sticking our bottom up into the air, but we've got a diagonal line, ear, shoulder, pelvis, knee to ankle. We'll rotate from front plank to side plank. So put what will be your supporting arm underneath the centre of your chest and then pivot on your feet to side plank, holding the side plank position. We're going to move from the side to the front plank. Again, rotate on the feet, come back to your front plank position. And then we'll move to side plank on the opposite side this time. So weight bearing arm goes under the centre of the chest. And I've told you before that that is just to keep your shoulder safe when you rotate on it. Now we'll be moving from side plank to front plank and lowering to the mat from the front plank position. The exercise that we'll be working on is dart and side bend. This works the muscles into the back and also the quadratus lumborum that links the rib cage to the pelvis at the back of the body, and they are an important postural muscle. So if we rotate to front plank, you might want to pop your knees down initially. If you're strong enough to lower all the way to the mat from a full plank position, please do. Glue your legs together for the dart, so squeeze your heels, your knees and your buttocks together, bringing the arms to the sides. We're coming up into lumbar extension, scapular retraction and shoulder joint external rotation. From there, we laterally flex the spine to bend to the side, return to the centre, release down to the mat, coming up into lumbar extension, scapular retraction, shoulder joint external rotation, and then we laterally flex to the opposite side, returning to the centre and releasing down to the mat. We continue to work dart and side bend. Maintaining the neck in neutral. And if your eye focus is always down on the mat, then your neck will be in neutral. Whereas if you find yourself looking up and looking forwards, then you have gone into cervical extension. Your neck is no longer neutral. So keep that eye focus down, back of the neck staying long, alternating sides. Visualize your navel as your pivot point and feel that strong inner thigh connection. Right the way from the feet, through the heels, through the knees, to the buttocks. One more to each side, please. Finishing our last dart and side bend, we'll move into our shell position. If you do want to push up through your plank position, tuck your toes, brace your thighs to push up. And then we're going to go to kneeling. Sitting back onto your heels, like the roll down, start from the top of the spine, flex forwards, and roll yourself down into your shell stretch position. Arms extended forwards. So you're aiming for bottom on your heels and head on the floor with the arms reaching forwards. Hold and breathe into it. Using the breath out to relax into the stretch. The stretch may possibly be felt in your back, in your arms, in your shoulders. And we're going to release from our shell, come up to 4-point kneeling, and onto our side for sideline spine rotations. You might want to pop something underneath your head so that your neck is supported, sideline in neutral. We're bringing the knees forwards. So you've got right angle at your knee joint, right angle at your hip joint. Make sure you're lying on your shoulders so your spine is neutral. With a long arm, we reach and rotate, keeping our knees pressed together as we work that thoracic mobilization. Pause for a breath in and breath out, return. Again, reach and rotate. Our knees stay still and we turn away from them, almost as if we're trying to roll over onto our back. You'll be watching out for your knees sliding off each other or separating from each other. They are both things that we don't want to happen. One more time through. And on our return, we're going to work an exercise called the torpedo. For the torpedo, we are working on our outer thigh, inner thigh, and the muscles of the waist to bring us into lateral flexion. Prep level, you're going to leave your hand in front of you, legs glued together. Lift everything off the mat, top leg higher, glue top leg to bottom leg, release everything back down to the mat. I'm trying to get your space between your armpit and the floor, and you will find at the prep level that that is fairly easy to do. For those of you who are ready to challenge, you're not going to have your arms supporting, it's going to go over your head. You're going to lift the arm and the head, top leg, top arm, return and lower, without rolling back into the hollow of the buttocks. So you might find that you're really working, I don't know if you can see that I'm really working, to stay on your side and avoid that temptation to roll backwards or forwards. We'll go for 2 more. Now the space that you have between your armpit and the floor is really important at your full level. And less space, you're going to be much more stable. More space, you're going to be much wobblier. So work at a level that you can get a good workout at, but you can stay. All right, thigh stretch on your side. Aim to have your knee in a straight line with your hip. It'll be a horizontal straight line. And then try to get your knee a little bit further back beyond the hip, as well as tucking your tail between your legs. So you take your pelvis into a posterior tilt when you are practicing your quadricep stretch. That should really open up into the hip, into the thigh, and give you a really good feeling of stretch into those muscles down the front of your leg. We'll be working on shoulder bridge next. So we're turning onto our back. Legs are parallel. We have a right angle at the knee joint. Unless you find you get a lot of hamstring cramp, then adjust that, but try to work towards right angle eventually. Arms are pressed down, pelvis is neutral, core is engaged, lift the hips to the top of the bridge. Holding the bridge, take your weight onto one leg, come into tabletop, and unfold that knee to extend to the ceiling. Flex the foot. Lower the leg so it's parallel to the opposite leg and point the toe. Lift the leg. Flex the foot. Lower. Point the toe. Lift. Flex the foot. Lower. Point the toe. Lift. Hold at the top of the lift. Fold at the knee. Now when you step this foot down onto the floor, you should just be able to step into it. If you're having to step up, then you've lost your height in your bridge. You need to work harder. Tabletop. Extend. Flex. Lower. Point. Lift. Flex. Lower. Point. Lift. Flex. Lower. Point. Lift. Tabletop, release down, and you've got the option to roll down from here, segmentally, one vertebra at a time, or you can take the challenge and roll down with your arms over your head. Get back to your neutral, lift the hips to the bridge, change the leading leg, tabletop, extend, flex, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, hold the lift, fold the knee, take the foot down, so watch for that step up, changing legs, knee fold, extend, flex, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, lift, flex, lower, point, lift, tabletop, take the foot down. So here's the alternate challenge. Palms and wrists on the floor over your head with your elbows straight as you articulate your spine down. When you get to the bottom, release the arms. Now we're going to add that movement with the leg, but we're going to make it dynamic, so a dynamic sweep. Up to bridge. Holding the bridge. Tabletop, extend. We flex, lower, point, lift, flex, point, fold, release. Yeah, that fast. Tabletop, extend. Go. Flex, point, flex, point, fold, release. Option for the arms and articulate it down. Let's go one more time. Neutral, arms return, lift it, change lead leg. Tabletop, extend. Flex, lower, point, flex, point, fold, release. Opposite leg, extend, flex, point, fold, release. Option for the arms, and then we articulate down. We'll be working on thoracic rotation in our next exercise, which is the knee roll. So once you come back to neutral, bring the arms just out to the sides. Gluing your legs together. come to tabletop. Pelvis, rotating. Shoulder blades and your head are going to form a triangle for this exercise, and I would like you to maintain your balance through the 3 points evenly as you're rotating. Be aware of the position of your feet. Your body will get a little bit lazy and want to drop your heels down to here. Yeah, so don't let it drop it down, keep the right angle. For those of you who have adequate hamstring length, extend this one. So you need to be in neutral at the centre, making sure that you haven't gone to flat back position. And also that line, ankle knee to hip, should be a vertical line. I hope mine is. I'm close to it. It should not be a diagonal line. This is not what you want, okay? So if you're getting your legs straight and your feet and your knees are miles away from your hips, bring it back to the bent knee position, please. This one, it's really important that our legs stay adducted and parallel and we don't allow them to do anything odd. Last time to each side. Releasing to full body stretch when you finish that final one. And then we'll balance up our side lying exercises. I will turn my back to you as we do our rotations, our torpedo and our quad stretch. Do pop something underneath your head to support neck in neutral. Getting into that right angle position from the knee joint, the hip joint. Neutral spine position, so you're lying on the side of the arm, you're lying on the pelvis. I focus directly forward so the neck is straight, you're not flexing. And then we reach and rotate. Pause at the end point, take a breath in. Exhale, return. Reach, rotate. Holding breath in. Exhale, return. Reach and rotate. Keep the knees and the feet together. Holding breath in. Exhale, return. Reach and rotate. That arm should always stay in a straight line to your eyes. Make sure that you don't overextend into the shoulder and drop it down. Holding breath in. Breath out, return. Reach and rotate. Holding breath in. Breath out, return. Last 2 repetitions. Your rotation is probably significantly bigger at this point compared to when we started working through this set of exercises. Last time. Holding breath in and breath out, return. We're moving into torpedo on this side. So we're going to a straight position. Prep level, keep the hand in front. We're lifting both ends of the body, challenging ourselves to lift our leg higher. Release the leg back down to touch the opposite leg before lowering to the mat. You should be able to get a fair amount of your armpit away from the mat at the prep level because you're using an additional part of your body to support. When you do go to the full level, you may well find that you're nowhere near that initial height of lift that you were, and you may actually find that you cannot get your armpit off the floor at all to start off with. That is fine, you can work towards it. Really important that you are lying on your side and you do not roll back onto your buttock. If you roll back onto your buttock, it will all be really easy, but you will not be using the muscles that the exercise is aimed at. So this is wrong, okay? This is right. Straight and wobbly is where we want to be. Last time through. moving into quadricep stretch in side lying. Knee goes back beyond the line of the hip. It's in a horizontal line to the hip, and we can also go into posterior pelvic tilt to open up that hip joint. Now it may be that when you bridge, if you find it hard to get your bottom up into a straight line with your knee, with your pelvis between your knee and your shoulder, it may well be that that happens because the muscles at the front of the hip will not stretch out enough to let you get the straight line, okay? So when you bridge, have a look in the mirror, and if you're folded in half here at the hip when you're bridging, and no amount of buttock clenching actually gets you up into that straight line, then this is what you need to work on. You need to work on the flexibility in the hip joint. So quadricep stretch, hip flexor stretch is really going to help with that, okay? Okay, right, we'll work in swimming preps next. So I would like you to be on your tummy, legs extended, arms extended. You're lifting arm on one side, leg on the opposite side, making sure that the movement of the arm comes from your shoulder joint and the movement of your leg comes from your hip joint. If this feels challenging for your shoulder joint, stay with it because it will be doing it lots of good. If it doesn't, you're going to add back extension at the same time, still making sure that you are getting the lift into the shoulder joint. Legs should be straight. So the work is coming from our buttocks and not from our hamstrings. Four more. And then as we finish that last one, we'll take a recovery in shell. Again, you've got the option to push up. We'll go to side stretch in shell this time. So once you've sat back and flexed forwards, bring both hands around to one side, keeping your head between your arms. Hold at the point that you feel a stretch down one side of your body. Breathing into the stretch to release the tension in the muscles. One more cycle of breath in and out before moving around to the opposite side. Head staying between the arms. Get to the point where you can feel the stretch down one side. Breathe into it. Encouraging those muscles to give, releasing into the position. One more cycle of breath. And then we will bring it back to our central position. Okay, come up to 4-point kneeling and walk forwards to a modified plank position, taking the arms wide. Be careful not to let your head fall forwards like this during this sequence of push-ups. Maintain the chin in retraction, working into the chest muscles as we bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Two more. Last one. Release down onto the mat. Extend the legs and place the arms down. Articulate from the top of the spine, moving the spine into extension until you're propped up onto your elbows with your cobra. Notice how this feels in your spine before releasing back down. Segmentally from the top of the spine, Extend, 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 extend. Shoulders away from the ears at the top of the cobra. Releasing back down. Extend. And release. Last time. Now we're going to stay propped up on our elbows on this last one. Elbows directly underneath the shoulder. Okay, I would like you to relax your tummy muscles, so push them down towards the floor at the same time as trying to pull your elbows towards your pelvis. Now, if, like me, you have some vertebrae that are a little bit reluctant to move into extension, then as you push your tummy down and pull your elbows back, you will actually help them get into that extended position, and you will feel it. We'll hold it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. So extension in general is very, very good for us to do because it helps to stack our discs back in the position that they should be in. We'll release down from there. Okay, we're coming up to a kneeling position, and we're just going to work on scapular squeezes. So this is the same movement that we did during our prep, okay? And we were in a squat position when we did our scapular squeezes and our shoulder joint rotation. When you do this movement, it's really important that you don't take the arms back like this, because this isn't scapular squeeze with shoulder joint rotation. We want it tight to the body. Position of the arms will make a huge difference. So you can see shoulder blades, you can see the arms moving, so it shouldn't be this. So it's right from that shoulder girdle, right from the shoulder joint. Making these our last two and our last one. Lovely. Okay, we're going to work through our side bend. We'll add the option of twists. Please be aware that as you add intensity, complexity and challenge to any exercise, as the exercise becomes more intense, it does carry an increased risk of injury. So please work at a level that is right for you. Okay, level 1, side bend prep, the knee stays down. You're lifting half of the weight of the body. Level 2, side bend full, the knees squeeze together. You're lifting all of the weight of the body. Level 3, side bend with a twist under. So you go to side bend, come to side plank, thread the needle under, back to side plank, release to side saddle. And level 4, side bend, side plank, thread the needle under, and then you add a little rotation up before releasing. So please choose the most appropriate level for you, bearing in mind the condition of your shoulders, the strength of your arms. So if you are managing any issues with your shoulder joint, go gently with it. Last time through. Wonderful work. Okay, come back to your kneeling position. We're practicing chin retraction here, okay? I'm going to turn side on so you can see this. So when we work chin retraction, we pull our head back. Imagine that your chin is like a book on a bookshelf and you are pulling the book off the bookshelf. You may well notice that when you retract the chin, the cervical vertebra in the back of the neck stack into a lovely, straight, strong position. One of the hazards of modern life is that for a lot of the time, we either have our head forwards or our head down, especially if you're looking at tablets and mobile phones. And then that can make the muscles in the back of the neck quite long. So by working on our chin retraction, it helps to mobilize the joints in the neck, brings the neck back into correct alignment, makes us aware of our head position so that when we do those push-ups and I'm asking you not to let your head fall forwards, you know the movement of chin retraction is what you want to be working on. We'll make this our last one, and then we'll release and balance our side bends. So you're working on the opposite side. Top foot in front of your bottom foot, wrist on the knee. Prep level, your bottom knee stays down. So if you've got any shoulder issues, start at that level. Full level, we go over and back. Side bend with a twist under. We go to side bend to side plank. We thread the needle under. Return to side plank, release down. And then we've got side bend with a twist up as well as under. So we've got our needle thread under and then our rotation to the ceiling. What I'd like you to notice about your side bend is your foot position. So you're going to try to keep the edges of your feet glued to the floor, right the way through the movement. And don't be tempted to let the heel on your back leg come up to make it look like you're getting further into it. Twice more this side. Making this our last one. Now we're going to be working on fine control of pelvic tilt for our next exercise with the seal. This is a flexed exercise, it's loaded flexion, and this is another reason why, if you're managing disc issues, intermediate Pilates is not the right level to be practicing at. We take the knees apart, place the feet together and put the hands through the legs and hold the ankles. So you're in posterior pelvic tilt with your lumbar spine flexed. That puts a lot of pressure through your discs. We're tapping the feet together. 3, 2, 1. Increasing the pelvic tilt to roll back to shoulder blades and come back to balance where we tap. 3, 2, 1. Pelvic tilt, roll back. When you do any rolling exercises, remember that the movement should come from your pelvis, your lumbar spine, and not from changing the position of your legs, bringing your legs towards you and swinging your legs away from you. Some of you will have a point on your shoulder blades where you hover, and if you do, you might want to add 3 taps of your feet there. If you don't worry, that can be something that you're working towards. One more time through. Position for hip twist. Legs are glued together so they're adducted and parallel. Full level, you are going to work on an extended arm, fingers pointing out to the sides. Prep level, you are coming down onto your elbows, fingers pointing towards your bottom. With your legs glued together, now we are in posterior pelvic tilt and the lumbar spine is flexed again. This means that the load through the discs is pretty big. Circle. Reverse. 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 So if you're working this in the hard position, arms are extended. Don't let yourself sink down into the shoulders. Don't let the elbows bend. You're trying to keep the arms straight. Muscles in your legs are going to be working really, really hard with this exercise, as well as all of the muscles in the abdominals, the waist and the back. One more in each direction. Final time through, and we'll set up for our full roll up. Flexing the spine forwards. We articulate the pelvis, followed by the spine down onto the mat, reaching the arms overhead, reaching to the ceiling. Articulate our spine, our pelvis up, reach towards the toes. In order to do the full roll up correctly, you need a balance in the strength between the abdominals and the hip flexors. as well as the flexibility in the lower back muscles. Please don't be tempted to fling your arms around with this one in order to use momentum to get up and down with the exercise. If you do, that will lead to an increase in your risk of developing a disc bulge. So if you're flinging your arms around and using a movement to get up, it's not a good one. So what I would like you to work on, if you're not quite ready for your full roll up yet, is from a bent knee position, roll yourself down as far as you can with control to roll up. Rolling yourself down as far as you can with control to roll up. So build your range of movement from seated down, getting further and further down as your strength, your flexibility increases. And then once you're at the point that you can get your head, your shoulder blades down onto the mat and roll up smoothly, then you should find that the addition of the arm over and back doesn't make any difference to the exercise at all. And you won't be using those arms to fling yourself over. When we get down to the mat this time, we'll stay there. Our exercise will be single leg stretch. So we'll set up into our start position, pelvis neutral, nice curve underneath the lower back, right angle at the knee, and ankles and knees in parallel to your hip joints. I want you to take notice of the movement of your legs with this one. Come to tabletop legs, tuck the chin towards the chest, rocking the head into chin tuck, and then float your head, shoulder blades, arms off the mat so you're at the top of the ab prep position. Now check the tracking of your legs when you extend one and then the other leg, making sure that you can keep your ankle, your knee and your hip in a straight position as you extend. Knee returning to a vertical line above the hip. We'll do 8 more. We go 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring both legs to tabletop, rest down and hug the knees in towards the chest. Try to curl your pelvis off the mat as you hug the knees in. Okay, release the knees, come back to tabletop legs, pelvis and spine to neutral. We're going to double leg stretch. Rock the head into chin tuck. Lift the head, the shoulder blades up. The hands are at the outside of the knees this time. As we exhale, we extend the legs and the arms. Inhale, circle the arms to the sides to return. Again, legs tracking either in parallel, making sure that your kneecaps are facing up towards the ceiling, your toes are facing up towards the ceiling, or you can be parallel and adducted together, gluing the legs together. Parallel adducted is a wee bit easier in terms of positioning. Parallel by itself may be a wee bit harder because your legs don't touch each other. So a little bit more control needed with the parallel compared to the parallel and touching. Twice more. Last time through. Okay, release it down. What I'd like you to do now is take one leg to the mat, making sure that your kneecap and your toe point up towards the ceiling. Rest your head down and pull the other knee towards the chest, making sure that the ankle, the knee and the hip are in a straight line with each other as you pull this knee towards your chest. It is quite common for this knee to want to go out to the side with your foot rotating in. I would like you to try to do your best to keep the straight line, hip joint, knee joint, ankle joint, And then also notice this leg. While you've been paying attention to this flexed leg, you may well have noticed that your straight leg has done something odd, either by rolling out or rolling in. So if it has, notice and point the toe and the kneecap directly towards the ceiling, please. You may have to work fairly hard to stay parallel flexed, parallel extended. Change over, compare and contrast how it feels this side. So straight leg, kneecap, toe to the ceiling, flexed leg, hip, knee, ankle in a straight line to each other. And release. We're going to work on double leg lowers next. Again, bring it to neutral pelvis. Take your fingers behind your ears, keeping the elbows back. Rock your head into chin tuck. Head, shoulder blades just off the mat, so you're at the top of the ab prep position. Keep the pelvis and the spine neutral. Come to tabletop legs. Okay, for those of you who are managing issues with sciatic nerve pain, I would like you to maintain your knees flexed as you dip your toes towards the floor, please. No issues, you're going to extend your legs. See how it feels for one leg at a time to dip towards the floor. Can you still maintain your neutral? If you're not quite strong enough, the temptation will be to go into back extension and to start to use your lumbar extensors. Now, if you can, you're going for double leg lowers. You want to make sure that you're not bulging your tummy muscles up at any level. And also make sure you're maintaining the curve in your back. It doesn't get bigger and it doesn't flatten. Just about every muscle in my body is shaking with the effort that this is taking. So we've got 2 more to go. Last one. And then when we get to the top, let's tuck in, rest down, and circle the knees. We'll go 3 circles one way, followed by 3 circles the opposite way. That will give us a passive pelvic clock movement. And that's a really nice exercise to massage all of your internal organs in the abdominal area. Okay, coming back to tabletop, we're going to work into the waist, crisscross obliques. Fingers behind the ears, rock your head into chin tuck, lift your head, your shoulder blades up. Front of the shoulder, opposite knee, rotate, reach 1, change 2, change 3, change 4, change 5, change 6, change 7, change 8. Keep going. Your pelvis should be still, and it's just the top of your body that's reaching and twisting towards the knee as it comes in. That leg should be tracking ankle, knee and hip as it's coming in that wonderful straight line that we set up with the single leg stretch a wee bit earlier. For 4, 4, 3, 4, 2 and 1. Come back to tabletop and rest it down. Wonderful work. Okay, placing our feet onto the floor. Extend the legs and go out into your full body stretch. Check what you've got over your head. I've definitely got some blocks and things over my head. I'm going to flick these out the way. And we're going to be working on spine rolls overhead now. This exercise is an articulation exercise, pelvis and spine into flexion. And again, because it's flexed position, this increases the pressure through the discs. So this particular exercise, Again, any disc issues, not particularly suitable. We're picking up, legs are glued together, so we're adducted and parallel, tipping the pelvis backwards, articulating our spine off the mat. You're going to try to touch the floor over your head and then articulate back down. Finish with your heels above your hips, pelvis and spine in neutral, articulate over again and articulate back. Continue to work that if it's suitable for you. If it's not, alter it. Bend your knees, work on pelvic tilt. If it is very easy for you to do this, when you get to the overhead position, leave one toe on the mat, reach the other toe to the ceiling. Bring both toes to the mat, reverse it, and then roll yourself down. Notice about any compensations in your body. I was quite aware I was doing odd things with my wrists and my hands. So I'm going to try to keep my wrists and my hands really still. We do a couple more. Changing lead legs. So you're always giving your non-dominant side a chance to lead. Last time through. Now on this last one, we'll use a little bit of momentum rock up to seated. Excellent work. I'm going to sit on a block for these stretches because it's important to get your spine stacked neutral. So when you are sat upright, you want your shoulders above your hips in a straight line rather than shoulders above your hips in a diagonal line. So you've got feet together, pressing the knees down towards the floor. Notice the height of your legs. Are they the same? Is the one side that needs to just be stretched out a little bit more because it's not quite as low as the other side. If there is, work on it, focus, get it down. We'll move from our short adductor to our long adductor stretch, and to do this you're going to take your legs apart. I'll turn around. Again, spine stacked in neutral, so your shoulders above your hips, heads above your shoulders, long legs, lean into it from your hip. Try not to let yourself round into the chest region, dropping your head forwards, but keep shoulders back, chest lifted, and lean, lean, lean into this stretch. We'll move from our long adductor stretch into seated hip rotator stretch. Vertical with the spine, legs together, bend one knee, cross it over the opposite leg. Now, whichever is your bent knee, you're going to turn yourself towards your bent knee. As you rotate, stack the spine up, looking over the opposite shoulder, hold. Reversing the stretch, take it round the opposite way. And then we will release. We'll come over onto hands and knees, so we're in 4-point kneeling. Spine into extension, toes tucked. Lift the knees off the mat, coming up into the shape of an upside down letter V. Rise onto the balls of the feet here, keep pressing your pelvis towards the ceiling. Slowly start to lower both of your heels towards the mat as you keep pressing your pelvis high. Hold when you feel the stretch in your calves. And release. Allow the heels to soften to the mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet, allowing the spine to flex completely as you do that. Rebuild your spine as you roll up to standing. And then take a deep breath in. Palms together, keeping your hips above your knees, above your ankles. Extend your spine backwards. Release to neutral, release the arms. Great work, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Well done.